The liberal media remains in meltdown mode after President Trump took dead aim at the most dangerous regime in the world this weekend. Now, when I say dangerous regime, we talk about an existential threat. What does that mean, existential threat? It means we're threatening the very existence of different societies, different cultures in the world, and make no mistake, that includes America. Now, the situation continues to change by the hour, and there are still many unknowns. Today's real story is not about how much of Iran's nuclear program was destroyed, but I think it's very clear they have been knocked way, way back. Way, way back. Their nuclear capabilities are under hundreds of tons of dirt, rock, and metal underground. It's not about the status of a ceasefire. Is it going to hold? Is it not going to hold? Today's real story is about how so many on the left would rather see Trump fail than prevent a terrorist regime from starting a nuclear war. Come on, you may like Trump, you may not like Trump, but you have to love America and you have to hate nuclear war. Headlines: U.S. strikes failed to destroy Iran's nuclear sites. That's Reuters. It's like, hey, guys, good news. Maybe he didn't get it done. Another headline: ceasefire between Israel and Iran appears to hold as Trump vents frustration with both sides. AP News. Trump takes his go-it-alone approach to NATO summit after announcing Israel-Iran ceasefire. Let's criticize this guy that took initiative and knocked a terrorist government, a terrorist regime, back from the brink of having nuclear weapons. This is not a glass half full headline group here. It's the left rooting for mission failure and hoping the ceasefire fails. It gets worse. MSNBC political analyst, a former Obama official, says Iran doesn't really mean it when it says death to America.
I went to Iran in 2014. I was sitting at a rally. These young guys were chanting death to America. I had a minder. I said, what are they saying? They're saying death to America. They finished the chant, and two young men came over and said, are you American? I said, yes. We want to welcome you to our country. We love American culture and love American movies. They wanted to talk about all these things. Iran is the most Western nation in the whole Middle East. We have much more in common with them than a lot of countries that we do have alliances with.
Let me talk to you from a psychological standpoint for a minute. You listen to people long enough, they'll tell you who they are. You watch them long enough, they'll show you who they are. When you've listened to this regime year after year after year tell you who they are, you better believe them. When you watch their proxies go out and attack and kill Americans, believe what they say, believe what they do. I don't know what these left media outlets think. We're going to believe our lying eyes or what they're telling you. At some point, you got to say enough's enough and too much is too much. He just said America has much in common with a country that funds, trains, and weaponizes terror groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. Really? Really? Maybe you do. I don't. I don't know anybody in America that does. According to Amnesty International, Iran censors media, jams satellite television channels, and blocks mobile apps and social media platforms. Yet, the same state television airs torture-tainted confessions. The Islamic Penal Code includes flogging, amputation, crucifixion, and stoning. Muslims who adopt another religion risk torture and the death penalty for apostasy. Now, what does that mean? You endorse another belief. You abandon and renounce the belief of a religion or political position that the state wants, they'll kill you. The legal age of marriage for girls is 13. Now, fathers can obtain judicial permission for their daughters to marry even younger, but at 13, it's just a given. We have a lot in common with these people? Are you kidding me? Let's look at the irony here. NBC is reporting that Arab nations are privately praising the strike. Qatar, Turkey, Saudi Arabia have not condemned the U.S., but MSNBC did, and they did so immediately after the strikes on Saturday night. So these other countries are not, but MSNBC is.
Now, common wisdom about this president, about the political movement that he leads, is that he is supposedly isolationist, that he is supposedly anti-war. That has never been exactly right. That's always been kind of a lazy common wisdom.
Israel's initiation of this war was not about preempting an imminent threat. This was a deliberate attempt to sabotage U.S. diplomacy with Iran.
Really? Israel is sabotaging U.S. diplomacy. You might as well be watching Iran public media.
آمریکا با این اقدامی که انجام داد علیه ایران و حریم هوایی ایران را
How are these people on the air? They're on the air because we have free speech. But we also have the right to think critically. We have the right to question what we're being told. You should be insulted and you should be offended and you should damn well let them know it. Trump's strike on Iran wasn't some outburst. This wasn't some impulse. It's been spoken about for days. It was the most ambitious U.S. airstrike since the beginning of the Iraq War on March 20th of 2003. And there was a lot of planning that went into this, let me assure you. What did it involve? 7 B-2 bombers, 125 aircraft, stealth technology, cruise missiles, decoys, 3 Iranian nuclear facilities destroyed in under 12 minutes. In and out, 0 U.S. casualties, no occupation, no prolonged war, and hopefully, potentially, a lasting ceasefire. And at the absolute minimum, we have knocked them back from the brink of having a nuclear weapon for a long, long time. And if they scramble back to get on the brink, they'll get knocked down again. They cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon because, trust me, they have shown us they will use it. Since the Islamic Revolution in 1979, the clerical regime in Tehran and its proxies, what have they done? Let's take a look. Well, they took 66 American hostages at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. They killed 17 Americans in a car bombing at the U.S. Embassy in Beirut. They drove a truck bomb into a Marine compound in Beirut, killing 220 U.S. Marines. They kidnapped CIA Station Chief William Buckley in Beirut before torturing and killing him. They hijacked Kuwaiti airline flight 2021, killing 2 American officials. They hijacked TWA Flight 847, killing a U.S. Navy diver. They killed U.S. Marine Corps Colonel William Higgins after kidnapping him in southern Lebanon. That's just in the 80s. The list goes on for pages. Just a few more. June 96, a truck carrying 5,000 pounds of explosive blows up a U.S. Air Force housing complex in Saudi Arabia. 19 Americans die. August 98, suicide bombers blow up the U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, killing 224 people, including 12 Americans. Between 2003 and 2011, Iranian-backed militias kill at least 603 U.S. troops in Iraq. That's according to the Pentagon. January 2020, a direct Iranian ballistic missile attack against a U.S. airbase in Iraq. More than 100 U.S. troops suffered traumatic brain injuries. And in case you forgot, Iran was behind the October 7th attack on Israel, the deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. That also killed 46 Americans. You want to talk to me, MSNBC, about we've got more in common with them than anybody else over there? Come on. You may hate Trump, but that doesn't mean you root against America, that you cheer for these people just to spite him. Look, if you hate everything somebody does, you've lost objectivity. You've lost objectivity. What did he do? He did what Bill Clinton said. Here's what Bill Clinton said in 1995, quote, "We are determined to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons." George W. Bush in 2006, 11 years later, "Iran must not be allowed to develop nuclear weapons, period." 2015, Barack Obama, "I have stated that Iran will never be allowed to obtain a nuclear weapon." Joe Biden, 7 years later, "We will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon." So come on, every president said the same thing. Then they get on the threshold, they get on the brink of doing it, and Trump steps up and says, no, I cannot risk this. The world cannot risk this, and he takes decisive action. Look, for God's sakes, don't cheer for a terrorist regime just to prove your point. Maybe you don't like Trump. Okay, don't like Trump. That's fine. Criticize his policy. Find something about him you don't like. But when somebody steps up to protect the world, when somebody steps up to take a nuclear weapon from a known terrorist regime, take a day off. That's a good day for America. That's a good day for the world. And that is the real story. If you want to hear the real story every day, make sure to follow and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I'll see you next time. Hey, Dr. Phil here. My network, Merit TV, has it all.
Now, let me blow your mind.
Merit TV's got the news that matters.
The selection of a new pope.
Entertainment you crave.
Busted.
Everybody in a good mood today?
And live events.
Surprise.
What am I, chopped liver?
With serious punch.
Big shot.
Go to merittv.com and download the Merit TV app today.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. Your savings are at risk. With the economy on shaky ground, the dollar losing value, and a $2 trillion deficit, things could spiral. Don't wait for the worst. Take control of your financial future now. I trust Preserve Gold to safeguard my accounts, and I urge you to do the same. They're the only precious metals company I recommend. What are you going to do to protect what's yours? Claim your special offer and learn how to reinforce your financial future. Visit drphilgold.com to get your free precious metals guide from Preserve Gold. With gold prices recently breaking records and analysts predicting this trend to continue through 2025, you cannot afford to wait. As a bonus, you can get up to $15,000 with a qualified purchase from Preserve Gold. So don't wait. Visit drphilgold.com today.